Peace by Abdul Baha Abbas. These various forms are shapes, cannot be manifest at the same time, at the same instant, in one material object. Therefore, the form of the physical body of man must be destroyed and abandoned before it can assume or take unto itself another. Mortality, therefore, means transference from one form to another. That is, transference from the human kingdom to the kingdom of the mineral. When the physical man is dead, he will return to dust, and this transference is equivalent to non-existence. But the human spirit in itself contains all these forms, shapes, and figures. It is not possible to break or destroy one form so that it may transfer itself to another. As an evidence of this, at the present moment, in the human spirit you have the shape of a square and the figure of a triangle. Simultaneously, you can conceive a hexagonal form. All these can be conceived at the same moment in the human spirit, and not one of them needs to be destroyed or broken in order that the spirit of man may be transferred to another. There is no annihilation, no destruction, therefore the human spirit is immortal because it is not transferred from one body into another body. That's an interesting way to say I don't believe in reincarnation. I don't believe it's necessary, but consider another proof. Every cause is followed by an effect, and vice versa. There could be no effect without a cause preceding it. Sight is an effect. There is no doubt that behind that effect there is a cause. When we hear a discourse, there is a speaker. We could not hear the words unless they proceed from the tongue of the speaker. Motion without a mover or cause of motion is inconceivable. Jesus Christ lived 2,000 years ago. That's actually more accurate. At least the Christ part of the Jesus Christ. Today we behold his manifest signs. His light is shining. His sovereignty is established. His traces are apparent. His bounties are effulgent. Can we say that Christ did not exist? We can absolutely conclude that Christ existed and that from him these traces proceeded. Christos was the title of the high priest, and it was also the title of the messianic figures by their followers. So it's never one person. Hundreds. Even at the same time, we're being called that sort of thing. Look at what's going on today with all these people claiming, I am the incarnation of Jesus, Son of God. It's like, seriously, search the internet. There's probably at least 100 out there. Still, another proof. The body of man becomes lean or fat. It is afflicted with disease, suffers mutilation. Perhaps the eyes become blind, the ears deaf, but none of these imperfections and failings afflict or affect the spirit. The spirit of man remains in the same condition, unchanged. A man is blinded, but his spirit continues the same. He loses his hearing, his hand is cut off, his foot amputated, but his spirit remains the same. He becomes lethargic. He's afflicted with apoplexy. But there is no difference, change, or alternation in his spirit. This is proof that death is the only destruction of the body, while the spirit remains immortal, eternal. Again, all phenomena of this material world are subject to mortality and death, but the immortal spirit does not belong to the phenomenal world. It's holy and sanctified above material existence. If the spirit of man belonged to the elemental existence, the eye could see it, the ear hear it, the hand touch. As long as these five senses cannot perceive it, the proof is unquestioned that it does not belong to the elemental world and therefore is beyond death or mortality, which are inseparable from that material realm of existence. If being is not subjected to the limitation of material life, it is not subject to mortality. There are many other proofs of the immortality of the spirit of man. These are but a few of them. Salutations. September 2nd, 1912. Talk at the home of Mr. and Mrs. William Sutherland Maxwell. 716 Pine Avenue West, Montreal, Canada. From Stenographic Notes. Nature is the material world. When we look upon it, we see that it is dark and imperfect. For instance, if we allow a piece of land to remain in its natural condition, we will find it covered with thorns and thistles. Useless weeds and wild vegetation will flourish upon it, and it will become like a jungle. The trees will be fruitless, lacking beauty and symmetry. Wild animals, noxious insects, and reptiles will abound in its dark recesses. Kind of like reptiles, you know? This is the incompleteness and imperfection of the world of nature. To change these conditions, we must clear the ground and cultivate it, so that the flowers may grow instead of thorns and weeds. That is to say, we must illumine the dark world of nature in their primal natural state. The forests are dim, gloomy, impenetrable. Man opens them to the light, clears away the tangled underbrush, and plants fruitful trees. Soon the wild woodlands and jungle are changed into productive orchards and beautiful gardens. Order has replaced chaos. The dark realm of nature has become illumined and brightened by cultivation. If man himself is left in his natural state, he will become lower than the animal and continue to grow more ignorant and imperfect. The savage tribes of Central Africa are evidences of this. I would say the Europeans were probably more savage than the Central tribes of Africa at this point, but left in their natural condition, they have sunk into the lowest depths and degrees of barbarism, dimly groping in a world of mental and moral obscurity. If we wish to illumine this dark plane of human existence, we must bring man forth from the hopeless captivity of nature, educate him, and show him the pathway of light and knowledge until, uplifted from his condition of ignorance, he becomes wise and knowing. No longer savage and revengeful, he becomes civilized and kind. Once evil and sinister, he is endowed with the attributes of heaven, but left in his natural condition, without education and training, it is certain that he will become more depraved and vicious than the animal, even to the extreme degree witnessed among African tribes who practice cannibalism. It is evident, therefore, that the world of nature is incomplete and perfect until awakened and illumined by the light and stimulus of education. Well, if there's instinct, and we turn against our instinct, if we turn against this material world, perhaps that's where the evil comes from. Could it not be? In these days, there are new schools of philosophy blindly claiming that the world of nature is perfect. If this is true, why are children trained and educated in schools? And what is the need of extended courses in sciences, arts, and letters in colleges and universities? Well, you see, even the animals figure out their environment and stuff. What would be the result if humanity was left in its natural condition without education or training? All scientific discoveries and attainments are the outcomes of knowledge and education. The telegraph, phonograph, telephone were latent and potential in the world of nature, but would never have come forth into the realm of visibility unless man, through education, had penetrated and discovered the laws which control them. All the marvelous developments